Can you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and good evening. Tonight is January 13th, 2026, our first meeting of the year. It seems like a long time since we've been up here. It probably has been a long time since we've been up here, about a month. We just came from executive session where we were discussing Teamsters Negotiations. All right, moving right into business. The first resolution on the agenda, resolution number 1, considering request of an extension exemption of Chapter 158, Section 2.1 of the Village Code regarding a seasonal leaf blower ban for 900 King Street and 1100 King Street.
Whereas on April 11th, 2023, the board approved a local law establishing a section of the Village Code enacting a seasonal gas-powered leaf blower ban from May 1st through September 30th, and whereas under the Village Code, properties with at least 5 acres of property can apply for a full or partial extension or exemption of the local law. And whereas an application has been distributed to all those known properties and placed on our website. And whereas in January 2024 and February 2025, the Board of Trustees approved a request for an exemption for the seasonal leaf blower ban for 900 King Street and 1100 King Street. And whereas a 1-year exemption was granted by the Board of Trustees that expired on October 1st, 2025. And whereas on December 12th, 2025, representatives of 900 King Street and 1100 King Street submitted an application for further exemption from the requirements of the local law requiring a seasonal leaf blower ban on gas-powered leaf blowers. Now therefore be it resolved that after consideration of the intent of the local law as well as considerations raised in the application from the applicant, the Board of Trustees hereby either approves, denies, or approves with conditions the request for the exemption under the Village Code for 900 King and 1100 King.
Thank you, Chris. And again, with these, we typically hold off on any motion second until we know what we're doing. I believe that the last time, now when we've had this application before, but it didn't include 900. So, but these properties are owned by the same entity.
Same owner, yeah.
So, I mean, is there anything that precludes us from doing it as one?
No, they can apply for an exemption. It's up to you if you want to do it as one or you want to do it separate.
Okay, no, it's fine. I think I'm fine with doing it as one. It's, so I know we have representatives of the property here, so please, would you mind?
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So, yeah, I don't, yep, sure. In the past, I don't believe we did do 900 King Street, but it was brought to my attention that we did not do it originally. And from what I understand, 900 King Street is going to be under construction at some point, so it's not really going to be that long. It might be part of the year, from what I understand from management, that we're only going to be able to need the blowers there for, and we don't do it every week. We only go every other week. So those are the only times that we'll have to use backpack blowers.
Gotcha. And in 1100, we're talking about all areas of the complex?
So last year we did around the buildings with battery, and it worked out pretty well. I don't believe we had any complaints. I think if we can continue doing that, that would be great.
All right. I think the resolution, the last resolution called for non-gas, so it would be electric around the buildings themselves,
Correct.
the walkways there, and then I think other things were half. The thing was half.
It says half throttle, whatever that meant. But from May 1st to September 30th, all gas-powered leaf blowers will be operated at no more than half throttle. That's what it said.
Right.
Gotcha.
As well as as the mayor said, should not be used on pathways adjacent to the buildings, weather permitting.
Questions or comments from the board?
I'm just wondering if you've seen any new developments in this field.
I mean, the battery blowers are still very costly and not that reliable. We spent a lot of money on battery blowers last year just to try and meet the needs of these towns and their requests for going away from gas-powered blowers. The technology has not gotten to where it really needs to be yet, but we're making do with what we can, with trying to keep the properties as presentable and clean as possible.
Other questions, comments?
How long do you get on a charge, roughly?
If you're using it full throttle,
Well,
yeah, full throttle, which is typically what we do, it's on one charge, it's about 2 or 3 hours,
That's pretty good.
but it doesn't make it through the day. So we'd have to change out batteries, which we all know the batteries cost more than the machine, so.
is this a backpack one? Because I've heard some landscapers talking about like 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, these are backpacks. They have 2 batteries in the back. They're a little bit heavier for the crew, but they get the job done in smaller areas. So keeping it to just the walkways and the perimeters of the building, I mean, that's about the best we could do with the battery blowers.
And then you're using the gas in the parking lots?
In the parking lots and for the bigger debris, or if it's wet and the debris is wet, the battery-powered blowers are not as strong, so we need to use the gas-powered blowers in order to keep it from being slippery with leaves and debris.
If I may ask, what brand did you purchase?
We have the, it's either Ego Pro or Greenworks. I think it's Greenworks.
And has the power diminished over time using the same batteries, or is it keeping the charge?
I have to change them every year.
Other questions or comments? I mean, my inclination is to keep this where it is. I think, certainly using the battery powered, around those areas. Obviously, we'd love to see it change over. We understand the limitations when you're looking at large pieces of property like this. But I don't know where everyone else stands.
Agree.
It's fine.
Yeah, I have no problem with just maintaining the current.
Okay, so it would be the same,
Okay, so I'll read it, I'll read so these would be the conditions
please.
on both properties, 900 and 1100. It would be from May 1st to September 30th, all gas-powered leaf blowers would be operated at no more than half throttle. Number 2, that during the seasonal seasonal period, gas-powered leaf blowers should not be used on the pathways adjacent to the buildings, weather permitting. And 3, the extension is granted through September 30th, 2026.
Thank you, guys. Have a good
so
one.
can I have a motion and a second, please, on that?
So
So
moved?
moved. Second,
Sorry.
whatever you need me for, Greg.
All right, any other questions or comments?
Trustee Epstein,
Yes.
Trustee Heiser,
Yes.
Trustee Crom,
Yes.
and Mayor Klein.
Yes. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Night.
You as well. All right, and on a similar line, resolution number 2, considering a request of an extension exemption of Chapter 158, Section 2.1 of the Village Code regarding a seasonal leaf blower ban for Bellefair.
Okay, whereas the Board of Trustees have passed a local law in 2023, and whereas the properties of 5 acres or more can ask for a full or partial extension or exemption, and whereas the Board of Trustees approved a request for this property for Bellefair HOA on November 14th, 2023, and whereas a 2-year exemption was granted at that time and expired on October 1st, 2025, and whereas on October 30th, 2025, representatives of Bellefair HOA submitted an application for the requirements of the law requiring a seasonal ban on gas-powered leaf blowers for the 88 residential properties maintained by the Bellefair HOA, and whereas this exemption request does not include the 173 residential properties that are not maintained by the Bellefair HOA, now therefore be resolved that in consideration of the intent of the local law as well as considerations raised by in the application by representatives of Bellefair HOA, the Board of Trustees hereby either approves, denies, or approves with conditions the request for an exemption of the Village Code enacting a seasonal leaf blower ban for the Bellefair HOA.
Thank you, Chris. And again, we wait until we have something until we know which way we're going before we make a motion and a second. And And I think, with this one, again, as we learned in previous applications, it's not all the homes in Bellefair for this, it's just the ones that are maintained by the HOA themselves. Some of the homes within Bellefair hire their own landscapers to come and do the work on their properties. We similarly had, in the previous resolution that was done for this, there was a condition that the battery-powered blowers were used for the walkways, driveways, decks, and patios in and around the 88 homes maintained by the HOA. And we have representatives of the HOA. Please.
I remember last time was a 2-year.
Right, it was.
Why do some have their own plan?
I forget the answer. I knew the answer.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Klein, and members of the Board of Trustees. My name is David Gelfarb. Good evening, Mayor Klein, and members of the Board of Trustees. My name is David Gelfarb. I am an attorney with the firm of Moss and Kalish in New York City and a former 17-year Rybrook resident. I represent the Bellefair Homeowners Association, Inc. The association is applying pursuant to Village Code Section 158-2.1E for a second exemption from the village's May 1st through September 30th limitation on the use of gas-powered leaf blowers. On November 14th, 2023, this board granted an exemption to the association from the leaf blower law through and including September 30th, 2025. That exemption has expired, and the association is seeking a second exemption. With me tonight are Mr. Sebastian Bulfamonte, the landscaper for Bellefair, Mr. Mike Schliefer, the treasurer and a board member of the association, and Mr. Rafael Reyes, the community manager for Bellefair. Now, by way of background, the entire parcel of what is known as Bellefair at Rybrook is approximately 110 acres. The Senior Living Center, now known as Atria at Rybrook, encompasses about 5 acres. Our application does not encompass the Senior Living Center, and we will not further address that property. The remainder of the community consists of 261 homes and common areas. The common areas include roadways, the village green, a meeting house, a playground, an indoor and outdoor pool, and detention basins. There is also a deli and a daycare center which has its own playground. As you may know, several of the roads in Bellefair are not dedicated to the village and are thus privately maintained. These common areas encompass about 51 acres of Bellefair. In addition, as the mayor was referring to, there are different categories of homes in the community with different levels of service offered to them. Specifically, there are 173 single-family detached homes. Bellefair does not provide landscaping for those homes. This application does not encompass any of the single-family homes. There are 88 of what are called maintenance-included homes. There are 3 categories of what we call MI homes. There are 30 single-family village homes, which are situated on or around the village green. There are 46 duplex villas, which, as the name indicates, are homes which share a common wall. There are also 12 attached townhouse homes, which are dedicated to municipal employees, for example, Blind Brook School employees, Portchester School employees, and Village of Rybrook employees. The association provides landscaping services for the common areas and the 88 maintenance-included homes. The landscaping company for the arbors is Dominic Bulfamonte & Sons, Inc., which is based in New Rochelle. Mr. Bulfamonte, who is on my right, is in charge of the work done at Bellefair. Mr. Bulfamonte will be speaking about the following issues: the work he does for Bellefair, the machinery he uses, the features of gas and electric-powered leaf blowers and landscaping equipment, charging and battery issues, the availability of electric equipment, and cost issues. Of course, he will be happy to answer questions from the board as he did the last time we were here before you. Lastly, Bellefair continues to look forward to being as green and sustainable as is feasible. As part of that commitment, Bellefair has been in compliance with the condition in the 2023 resolution which provided that the association, quote, will use battery-powered leaf blowers for the walkways, driveways, decks, and patios in and around the 88 homes maintained by the Bellefair HOA. We would like to propose that in exchange for further 2-year exemption, that the association will continue to abide by the condition in the 2023 resolution. This will help to reduce noise in the vicinity of homeowners and further the goals of the village's legislation. At the same time, it will allow traditional equipment to be used on larger areas such as roadways, fields, and detention basins, while the association and Mr. Bellefair prepare to meet the challenges of this law, while allowing traditional equipment to continue to be used in the larger areas. Bellefair has continued to review the feasibility of and has been considering the use of electric push blowers, weed whackers, and push mowers. Mr. Bellefair is also using an area in and around the meeting house for the charging of battery-operated equipment. If the board has any questions at this time, I would be happy to try and answer them. If not, I would like to turn the podium over to Mr. Bellefair, and after he has finished speaking, I may ask Mr. Schliefer or Mr. Reyes to address you. If there are any questions for me after Mr. Bellefair and possibly Mr. Schliefer or Mr. Reyes speak, I would be happy to answer further questions. On behalf of Bellefair, thank you for your time and consideration of this matter.
Please.
We're just looking to renew the same exemption that we had last time. You know, we've went with whatever exemption we had, where we could use the blowers, we used them. The battery stuff is still the same as it was, you know, a couple of years ago. Nothing has gotten any better, hasn't gotten any worse. So, you know, there's really nothing else we could change or do differently, really.
How's the reception been by the residents?
We haven't seen any issues. I mean, Raphael would know better than me, but I haven't heard any complaints or anything.
Are there any rumors of technological progress?
The problem is it's not throughout the whole country. So, like these bigger companies, just to, you know, advance this stuff just for one state or one county, you know, it's really not feasible for them, you know.
That's a Northeast problem, huh?
Not even a whole Northeast problem.
I would imagine it's California also.
It's California and,
California
you
and
know,
New York.
Westchester County. You know, they have some issues also, I guess, on Long Island with the blowers, but, you know,
I don't see this being a Texas issue.
no. Not
No,
Texas,
they
not
they
Florida.
allow
no.
full throttle every,
Extra gas.
They look for bigger equipment.
All right, any questions or comments from the board?
are we looking at 1 year or 2 year?
I think that's a big question for us.
They're requesting
In the past,
to-
we had done 2
Yeah.
years, they're requesting it again.
I think we've only been giving one, have we not?
At the beginning, we gave a number of twos, and I don't remember to exactly which percentage or which those were. I'm fine if we wanted to keep it one, that's fine with me.
Then we have to see Mr. Gelfarb again in a year.
Potentially,
Well, it just seems for equity.
right. To just keep them all at once.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way, is just keep it parallel.
Okay.
I would point out, we are, of course, an HOA. Some of the other ones you've had were larger commercial establishments, and, you know, to the extent that, you know, we're trying to keep the dues to homeowners as moderate as possible. And, you know, any increase in these kind of costs is obviously going to flow right through to our homeowners. So things worked out pretty well with two so far. And, you know, we're not foreseeing a huge technological breakthrough in the next year that would really,
Yeah, and I think, you know, there are a number of HOAs that have applied for this. Certainly, we had, you know, God.
I know in some cases there was also contracts that the HOAs had for
Had existing
more than 1
contracts.
year, things like
Right,
that.
but, and so I would imagine that any of the 2 years would be coming back up this year, that we're still going to have a number of those coming. So I think it's a question of what we would want to do with those as well. If we want to move them all to 1 year, that's certainly fine. It doesn't add expense to the homeowners. We'd be still exempting and allowing what we allow. It just would make it so that we're looking at this on an annual basis in case there are advancements.
Well, the problem I have is if we grant a 2-year in this instance, how do we tell the next person, sorry, you only get 1 year?
Right. And I think what we did the first time, a lot of it was based on what percentage of the property they were using because the first time we had certain, to Chris's point, the first go around, we had certain HOAs that were in contracts.
For multi-year.
For that year, that were already existing contracts. And so we only did a 1 year to allow them to come back after that contract had been, but I think even in those cases, we probably just did a 1 year at that point. So I think if we want to move this to 1 year, I think that's fine. We'd still be keeping the same conditions in place, if that's what the board is looking for, and assuming that the applicant is good with that of using the battery-powered leaf blowers for the walkways, driveways, decks, patios, in and around the 88 homes maintained by the HOA.
Yeah, I would think that being that we're committing to do that 2 years is realistic because, those are the areas that the battery-powered equipment is more suited to. In terms of these larger areas like detention basins and roads and open common spaces, that's where I'm concerned that, by a year from now, we're a lot less likely to have the technology available to realistically do that sort of work on battery.
Right, and I think the question is, it's twofold. It's where do we think the technology is going to be in a year, and where do we stand with the other applications in the village? And I think, given those, I think I think this board is leaning towards just having this be a 1 year.
I have
if I
another-
read the board correctly.
I think that's accurate, but I also want to know about how many gas-powered and how many battery-packed blowers do you have? Have you made a considerable
Well, it's just for use
investment?
in this.
For use in this, and yes, for this specific property.
It's probably 4-to-1 battery compared to gas. Because we can't use the gas in too many spots, so it's mostly all battery.
And I'll ask the same question of you as I asked the last applicant. What brand do you use, and do you find that the power, is it working better, or is you have?
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. It's Greenworks, the one we use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they haven't increased any power or battery size
But you do have the battery ability to charge them on the Bellefair property.
yes.
So that's a positive thing.
It helps. Yeah, it definitely helps. We don't need as many batteries, so, because we could just charge them.
Right.
But you have to charge some, but still have, spares available. You can't wait for it to charge because they don't charge in 5 minutes.
Right.
Any other questions or comments? Am I reading the board correctly? Don, any questions, comments?
No, I think you're right. I think we've given something like more than a dozen, and I think most of them have been 1 year. I think it was just the very beginning they were doing 2 for the first few people.
Okay. So, can I have a motion second for I think, Chris, do you want to read it as amended?
Sure.
It'd be
That,
1 year and including.
Be an extension through September 30th, 2026, and under the following condition, that Bellefair will use battery-powered leaf blowers for the walkways, driveways, decks, and patios in and around the 88 homes maintained by the Bellefair HOA.
All right, can I have a motion second, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any questions or
Take
comments?
them all.
What was this?
Well, I don't want to take them all.
Monte, you're
You know,
good
so fast.
continuing the way it's been going?
Just continue.
Any questions or comments from them? If you don't mind, please coming up.
Just step away.
You like that? You do, you. And
So again, Mike Schleifer, I'm the director and treasurer of the association. There's a couple of things I think before you settle on a 1 year decision that I think you got to factor in. First is that we have a multi-year contract, and you made a point about multi-year contracts. Our contract with Sebastian goes through March of 2028. That contract contemplated costing that factors in this exemption and being able to utilize the exemption that's available to us. So that's the first point. And the second point, Mr. Gelfarb made a point about having to pass on the additional cost to our residents. We just passed our 2026 budget, and with that budget, we passed along a 14% landscaping contract cost increase to our residents. So that's a considerable increase that our residents had to bear. So, again, just it's additional color that I think you guys should have, but if you want to proceed with 1 year, I respect the decision, but I would strongly urge you to consider 2 years, just based on the fact that, we just signed a multi-year contract 6 months ago, and it runs through 2028 under these assumptions.
And to your point, I would just say that, I really don't see, unless there's major advancements in technology, we probably, given what this board has voted on in past applications over the last 2 years, I don't really see it changing. So I don't see it adding any cost. I mean, this is the same conditions that the landscaper has been
Right, but
operating under for the last 2 years.
The
And-
landscaper, he wasn't operating under these conditions until, I believe it was the 2024 season, or 2023 season, whenever the legislation was passed. We entered into the previous contract in 2022 at costs that were significantly lower than what we were at. There was an inflationary increase that we got passed along, in addition to the fact that we got the cost for the leaf blowers passed on to us. So the 2022 pricing that we were paying for up into February of 2025 is an apples versus oranges contract.
Right, no, I understand that. I think the point I'm just trying to make is that really a 1 year versus 2 year isn't going to add any cost.
Well, there's legal costs to apply, for us to apply for the exemption. It's time, it's resources. So,
But sir, since you just signed a 3-year contract, under your logic, you should be asking for a 3-year exemption.
right, but you guys only give 2 year, no?
I just said ask. I didn't say
Fine, we'll ask for a 3-year exemption then if you guys are willing to give it. But our understanding of the regulation was that we were only allowed to ask for a 2-year exemption.
I'm just trying to follow the threads of your logic.
And I'm explaining my position.
Right, and we understand, and again, I think this board is fully appreciative of the facts of the matter, and certainly willing to continue with this exemption, with the conditions that it's been acting under for the last 2 years. So
Understand.
And I would add too, the board, the village board has been very understanding, I think, by making it only a seasonal and also giving the exemptions. In one of our neighboring communities just this month went 100% ban again. So they had a 2-month exemption only for two times, and they banned it 12 months of the year. So they just did that this month. They just enacted that. So I think the board's trying to balance
I understand.
the
Again,
needs to.
Again, my points here is just to add color as to what's going on behind the scenes. So, all
absolutely,
That's all.
understood.
right.
And we appreciate your comments.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I believe we have a motion and a second. Okay.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Crom?
Yes.
And you're making fun of me.
Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
All right,
Administra-
resolution number 3, I am going to hand this over to you, Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Should say why.
Oh, yes, this is the resolution, I should say why. This is resolution number 3, considering the approval of 3 agreements between the Village of Rybrook and Teamsters Local 456, of which I am recusing myself from. Yes, because I am a member.
Chris, would you like to?
Sure.
honors?
Whereas the Village of Rybrook and the Teamsters Local 456 have been negotiating a collective bargaining agreement on behalf of certain full-time white-collar personnel, and whereas authorized representatives of the village and Teamsters entered into a memorandum of agreement signed on September 19th, 2025 for a 3-year contract from June 1st, 25 through May 31st, 28. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes enter into a collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters for a 3-year contract from June 1st, 2025 to May 31st, 2028, based on the terms and conditions set forth in the stipulation of agreement dated September 19th, 2025. Be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the memorandum of agreement between the village and the Teamsters for Senior Office Assistant Office Manager Jessica Carpentieri. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes a memorandum of agreement between Rybrook and Teamsters for the Assistant Building Inspector Alfredo DeVito. And be it further resolved that the Mayor and Administrator are authorized to execute and deliver all copies and documents of necessary or appropriate to accomplish the purposes of this resolution.
Can I get a motion in a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Comments?
I can summarize. I want to
Summarize it,
So it's
then
a,
comment.
it's a 3-year agreement. First year is a 2.5% increase, second year is a 2.75% increase, and the third year is a 3% increase. There's also some changes in the longevity schedule, both in amounts and which years. And also they would not provide dental in retirement for newly hired employees in the unit. And other than that, the rest are pretty minor changes.
I'd like to thank you, Chris, and all those who contributed towards this. Comments?
Question.
Questions? I was only asking a comment.
Okay. Well, comment
Did
and
you get a question?
comment/question. I believe this board approved the stipulation agreement, which was the outline, and
Yes.
is it your feeling that the agreement, presumably it is there any, was there any major changes that we should note from the overall agreement that we agreed to, was a good agreement months ago?
The one from months ago is what exists. So the only thing we did was change the draft. You're talking about the draft agreement, the actual agreement?
Well, there's an outline that was initialed on terms, like a term sheet.
The terms, that was the memorandum of agreement.
Right.
That's what we agreed to at the two negotiating groups negotiated and agreed at the table. So that summary document is what's negotiated, it's put into as terms, and then we sign off on that. That was done, that's the one that was done back in September.
Right.
And then after that, the reason this has taken a while to get to this point is we wanted to also, since this is the first time the white-collar unit has a union agreement, we waited to draft all of the terms using the summary of benefits and those new terms and putting it into a new incorporated document. And the two other agreements are just for one employee, Jessica Carpentieri, who has a 10% increase in the first year as basically a catch-up, and she's doing a great job. And the other one is for something that we had put into his employment agreement for Alfredo DeVito. That was originally in his employment agreement, his letter agreement when we hired him. So we're just incorporating everything into that, memorializing it. So I'm not sure if I've answered your question.
Well, yeah, my question was, did any
We
unexpected...
haven't added anything new.
Did any
It's just,
unexpected terms or twists or turns happen between what we knew about?
Nope.
I know we've been discussing all
yeah,
along.
the
I'm
time
just-
frame had to do simply with drafting the agreement itself, because it didn't exist.
Okay,
And, but other than that, it's all the same.
good.
And,
Okay.
yeah, no, that was
I
pretty,
just
and
wanna
the union voted on it yesterday.
Thank you for all your hard work in it. I know it took an unbelievably long time to negotiate this with the union going back and forth, so thank you.
Well, it's again, it's negotiations. I appreciate it. Thank you for the comments, and it's a two-way street. You know, we try to work it all out, and I think it's a fair
I think
agreement
we're a
for
fair
everyone.
village, and
Yeah,
I think
it's
that they are
fair
happy,
on
and I
both
know that
sides.
you're a fair negotiator as well, and so hopefully they're happy, and we're happy that the village is happy, and that
And we got a 3-year
they're
agreement.
happy, so it's great.
So,
Susan, I've already thanked them, and now you're spoiling them.
I have to.
so at the moment, all of our union contracts are all settled, so which that's nice. That's nice as well.
Any other comments and/or questions? Greg?
Trustee Epstein,
Yes.
Trustee Crom,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Heiser.
Yes. So now you want me to cede power back to you?
Is that a motion somebody's making?
I was going to say.
Actually, see ya.
Don't let him slide in.
All right, yes, and thank you all, thank you everyone who put the work in on that. You know, as mentioned before, I haven't been part of this at all because of the conflict that I have with that. So, but you know, obviously, we as the board support our
Yes.
employees, and yeah, glad that that's getting done.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's wonderful to have all the contracts settled right now.
All right.
Although we will be starting another round soon.
Another round soon. All right, now moving back into things that I can vote on and talk about. So, resolution number 4, considering accepting fiscal year 25-26 donations for Village of Rybrook events and programs.
Okay, and I would mention this is a newer resolution that we're putting forth. We think it's a good practice to list all the donations that we have in our current fiscal year and kind of memorialize it periodically with the board. So, whereas the Village of Rybrook has received donations from sponsors from various events and programs in 2025-26, and whereas Rybrook is interested in accepting all the following donations, and these are different groups, and a lot of them are to do with little leagues and birthdays, but I'll list them. I'll just say the names and the amounts, maybe. Women's Club of Rye, $1,200. Bailiwick Club, $500. Rye Ridge Deli, $500. Justin Sherman, $700. Jessica Luck, $100. Calgy Construction, $1,000. Washington Park Plaza, $1,000. Keenan Bean, $1,500. 1100 King Street Associates, $1,000. Yale New Haven Health, $1,000. White Plains Hospital, $1,000. Parker Jewish Institute Foundation, $2,500. Olmsted Tree and Shrub Car Company, $1,000. Blind Brook Club, $1,500. Washington Park Plaza Associates, $1,000. Yale New Haven Health, $1,000. Calgy Construction, $1,000. Corey Sassauer Real Estate, $1,000. RPW Group of New York, $1,000. Citibank, $100, and that totals $19,600. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees, acting as the Board of Directors of the Friends of Rybrook, hereby accepts these sponsorship donations for various events and programs. And be it further resolved that the Mayor and Administrator are authorized to sign any documents necessary to accomplish the purposes of this resolution.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and what if I could just summarize,
Please.
most of these events, so what these donations are for, are people that sponsor Winterfest, the Rybrook Birthday, our Pumpkin Patch, Little League sponsorships, Ice Cream Fridays, and senior meals and fitness. And that's really a summary of what those donations are all for.
Right, and we certainly appreciate all of these businesses and individuals contributing to what we're able to offer to the public. I think this is a good way to have it as an annual resolution. And again, this is for the fiscal year 25-26, so this is
Current
something
year.
that we're currently in
Yeah.
until we get to our new budget, which, we have the budget sessions in March, we vote on in April, goes into effect June 1st, if I'm
Yes.
And so, it's nice to be able to list these and have this be a public document, which is,
It is.
Which
It's
is-
good, it's a good practice.
And to see who is really coming out for Rybrook, I want to thank those vendors and show our appreciation. So it's great
It is.
for both.
any other questions or comments?
Trustee Epstein,
Yes.
Trustee Heiser,
Yes, thank you.
Trustee Crom,
Yes, thank you.
and Mayor Klein.
Yes. And again, thank you to those who helped help the village provide these services to our residents, these nice programs. All right, in a similar note, resolution number, sorry, I lost track of numbers, 5, considering accepting donations for the seniors at the Anthony J. Pasilipo Senior Center.
Okay, whereas Bob Bernardi was an active member of the AJP Senior Center for many years and recently passed away, and whereas there have been several donations made in memory to the Anthony J. Pasilipo Senior Center, and whereas the Village of Rybrook is interested in accepting the following donations, and there's a series of donations: Arlene Conway, Anthony Gutto, Barry McVeigh, Patricia Scalfani, Ralph DeTavio, Phyllis Gatto-Brew, Marion Aker, and Nancy Weinberger, and for a total of $975. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees, acting as the directors of the Friends of Rybrook, hereby accepts the donations in memory of Barbara Nardi totaling $975, and be it further resolved that the mayor and administrator are authorized to sign any and all documents necessary to accomplish the purposes of this resolution.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
And again, we're very appreciative of these donations from these individuals, obviously memorializing a specific person, that being Barbara Nardi. And, again, these funds will be used to
At the
help,
senior center.
to help provide programs
Mm-hmm.
to the residents that use these services at the senior center.
Yes, and this is one that stays with the senior center, and it's in recognition of Barbara Nardi, who was a really active member of the senior center. She's a former officer, I think, of the senior club. She was very active, was a regular attendee at our senior center, and she'll definitely be sorely missed. So this is a nice way for people to recognize Barbara.
Right.
Yeah, and thank you to her estate for thinking about us and remembering this was an important activity and fellowship for her.
Yes.
Right, it was really important. I think that Liz really made a difference here, Liz Rockfeld, being the head of the senior center, and Barbara Nardi was one of her friends, so I know she'll be sorely missed by all of them, so it's really lovely.
Any other questions or comments?
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Crom?
Yes.
And Mayor Klein.
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 6, considering waiving restricted hours for Speed Bump LLC to film Birnam Wood, AKA The Spot, at 1100 King Street.
Whereas the Village Code outlines permissible hours for filming, indicating that filming may only take place Monday through Thursday between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m., and between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. Friday, and between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. Saturday, and between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Sunday. And whereas an application by Speed Bump has they submitted an application for interior filming of Birnam Wood, AKA The Spot, utilizing 1100 King Street, and the dates are January 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th, and 13th from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. for filming prep, and on January 22nd, 23rd, 28th, and February 13th from 7 a.m. to 4 a.m. for filming. And whereas the Speed Bump LLC has requested the permissible hours of operation be extended to allow filming and associated operation on the dates and times listed on the application to accommodate the production needs. And whereas the Village Code provides the Board may waive certain provisions of the filming code at their discretion, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby waives the filming restrictions with respect to hours of operation by allowing filming and associated operations during the hours requested in their application, and be it further resolved the clerk is authorized to sign and execute all documents necessary to accomplish the purposes of this resolution.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion second, please?
So moved.
Second.
So, I was looking at the application, it's, or the, what they were asking for, the letter.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have representatives from these here to be able to answer questions. I don't know if that's the case today. But, I'm noticing some, the generators, I don't know if there's any lights sometimes there's lights
Interior filming,
coming
but
from the outside to simulate daytime.
I couldn't answer that. It's
And,
we can put those conditions in there if the Board is comfortable.
yeah, my only questions, because again, with the off hours filming, we're concerned with how it affects the neighbors.
Mhm.
And at 1100 King, depending on where they are, it could back up onto the Bellefair property, the Atria. I always forget which is building one.
Kingfield, yeah.
Yeah, it could back up on the Kingfield.
I didn't know what it was.
I don't know what that is.
So I guess the questions,
I didn't see that.
are what time are the generators going to be running and whether there's going to be any lights from the outside.
I can't answer those questions, but you can build those conditions into there and allow the
Well, if it-
administrator to pull the permit at any time should it be violated.
Right, because I mean, one of the days, especially the February 13th, which is the Friday as we're heading into a break, a school break, and so it's a Friday on starting a weekend and they're going till 4 a.m. If there's generators running 24/7, I mean, I don't know what condition, whether we would want to put conditions that the generators be located a certain distance from residential properties. I'm not sure what other conditions.
Or you could also
We have
put
it
in
in the
that the
past.
generator shall be located in a location approved by the village or by the
Right, because if
administrator
it's
or
closer to King
superintendent.
Street, it's less of a problem.
If it's on the interior, if it's towards, if it's on the interior of the property, it's less of a problem for the
But
generators.
even the
What I'm saying is if you
parking,
leave it as subject to approval of,
Yeah.
say me, or whoever,
right,
then
Right.
we can always have the right to move it if it's causing a problem too.
right.
All right, then let's put a condition in there to that effect of, especially for the generators and just finding out whether there's going to be any external lights, shooting in, because I know sometimes that has been the case. Let me just look at this again really quickly.
Am I the only one who did not know what Birnam Wood was?
I don't know.
Would you like me to read it to you?
No, that's okay.
I didn't know either. It's a book that they're obviously making a movie out of it.
You would probably be
thriller.
interested in
It
that.
sounds like I would be interested in that.
My friend sent it to me. She mentioned it today.
I thought I was the only ignorant one.
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna have to read that. All right. Obviously, we appreciate the film crews looking at Rybrook to do their filming, to conduct their filming. We definitely want to work with them. We just want to be aware of the effect it may have on the neighbors. Yeah, I mean, they're talking about haze. I mean, there's going to be a lot of activity in the area, but that doesn't necessarily concern me. It's more the generators and whether there would be lights from the outside filming in, because I think it is mostly interior.
Well,
filming.
so yeah, it is all interior filming. And why don't we just say that the condition that two generators be located at locations approved by the village administrator or superintendent of public works, whatever you want, or both, and that all lights shall not negatively impact the neighbors in the neighboring residential developments, and leave it flexible for us.
Okay.
And then
I'm
we'll just,
comfortable with
we
that.
know the sense of the board of what you guys want, so this way we'll make sure it's not a problem.
Right, and the reason I'm saying that is because clearly there's going to be some filming being done from the outside, because otherwise, why do you need 3 80-foot lifts? Unless you're putting something out there.
Unless you're putting something there,
So,
unless they're lifting something into it or something.
yeah,
to
maybe they're
space.
lifting something into it or putting something from the, or something that's a backdrop on the outside. So we just want to be aware.
We'll find out.
We had filming in 900 King, and we put restrictions on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, similar
So,
to this.
exactly.
But it's more so that we don't have the ability to ask the question right now.
Right.
So, okay. I have nothing else.
I have nothing else. I'm confident Chris can handle it.
Yes.
I'm
We have
waiting
a sense
for
of
the
the board.
mayor's book report on this.
Yeah, well, that'll be coming soon. I'm in the middle of a book currently, but when I'm done with that book, this will be the next one. I'll
Huh?
check out of the library.
There's just going to be 2 conditions. One, about the generators have to be approved by the village administrator, period. Oh, and also that any lighting shall not have a negatively impact the residential developments, as determined by the village.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
We're becoming a little, Hollywood East here.
Yeah, that's great. No, and it's good. It brings
It's good.
it brings business to Rybrook, which is good. This is what we want.
Yep.
So can I have a motion and second, please, as amended?
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Crum?
Yes.
Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you. And Chris, just let us know when you get some answers
I will.
on that.
Yep.
Or if there's any concerns from the production company.
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. Resolution number 7, considering the approval of an intermunicipal agreement between the Village of Rybrook and Westchester County for snow and ice removal for county roads.
Just give me 1 sec to catch up. Okay, whereas Westchester County requests that Rybrook perform snow and ice removal and control for all county roads within the village, and whereas Rybrook has received a proposed 5-year renewal of a snow and ice agreement with the county for snow and ice control on Bowman Avenue and South Ridge Street, and whereas the Rybrook wishes to enter into the proposed snow and ice agreement with Westchester County, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the proposed renewal agreement between Rybrook and Westchester County for snow and ice control on Bowman Avenue and South Ridge Street, and be it further resolved that the mayor and administrator are authorized to execute and deliver all documents necessary or appropriate to accomplish the purpose of this resolution.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Certainly, this has become more limited as time has gone on.
Yeah.
Now that Ridge Street is fully under our
It's true.
control. But certainly, you know, we're gonna maintain the roads and keep them in the shape, and we appreciate the county entering into these agreements as they do with many other municipalities.
We don't want the county, we don't want to wait for the county to arrive to do this clearing.
No. All right, any questions or comments from the board?
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Crum?
Yes.
And Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 8, considering a renewal agreement between the Village of Rybrook and Capital Market Advisors for financial advisory services.
Whereas Rybrook utilizes the services of capital market advisors to prepare certain required filings related to bonds and other financial matters, and whereas capital market advisors services for this assistance has prepared a proposed renewal agreement with the fee schedule detailing various bond services from June 1st, 2026 through May 31st, 2028. And whereas Rybrook seeks to enter into the proposed renewal agreement, and be it now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the proposed renewal agreement with capital market advisors for bond assistance, services, and other financial matters according to the fee schedule designated in the agreement from June 26th to May 31st, 28, subject to modification by council, and be it further resolved, the mayor and administrator are authorized to execute and deliver all documents necessary or appropriate to accomplish the purposes of this resolution.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
The only question I have, Chris, is, you know, I'm just curious why this isn't done as part of the reorganization meeting that we have every year.
I think they, I think our treasurer's just starting to work with them, and she's just being expedient.
Okay, got it. Because I know a lot of these agreements come up
Yeah.
every year when we're doing the, you know.
Just wants to get ahead of it, and we're looking at the bond issues and things like that right
Okay.
now. So we're
Okay.
budget time too.
Right. Any other questions or comments from the board?
That's a different question.
The noise? Yeah, it's coming from over here. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right.
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Crum?
Yes.
And Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you. Resolution number 9, considering an agreement between the Village of Rybrook and AI Engineering for MS4 program and permit assistance.
Whereas the Village of Rybrook is required to provide annual MS4 reports to New York State regarding stormwater management plans and its MS4 program and permit compliance, and whereas Rybrook, in its current MS4 program and stormwater management plan, is to meet its new third through fifth year MS4 requirements under the new permit, and whereas the Village of Rybrook has received a proposal from AI Engineers of Valhalla, New York, to provide assistance to adhere to the new third through fifth year MS4 requirements under the new permit, at a cost not to exceed $11,500 unless written authorization is received. And whereas Roderick is interested in accepting this proposed agreement, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the proposed renewal agreement with AI Engineers, subject to modification by council, to provide assistance to adhere to the new 3rd through 5th year MS4 requirements under new MS4 permit at a cost not to exceed $11,500 unless written authorization is received. And be it further resolved, the mayor and administrator are authorized to execute and deliver all documents to accomplish the purpose of this resolution.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion and second, please?
Motion. So moved.
Second.
I can hold out as long as you can.
That's fine. I can't hold out. You know me. I'm right on it.
Otherwise known as,
Michael, you can't do this by yourself anymore.
we always had their assistance.
I know.
Yeah, this is formerly Dolph Rothfeld's office, now AI Engineers that provide the service. There's a new permit new permit requirements, and this is everybody's favorite annual report that everybody gets to listen to. The
I like
MS4
this
report.
annual report.
Well, that annual report's not going to be this evening, so good evening, members of the board. New York State is under a new general permit. It's a multi-year approach. We are in years 3 to 5 right now, and the requirements from New York State are very in-depth. A lot of mapping requirements, a lot of watershed mapping, a lot of reconnaissance work. A lot of it's been done with what we've done in the past with other agencies where we had received a multitude of grants for our infrastructure. Our outfalls are mapped, our catch basins are mapped, our storm lines are located on our maps. This goes much further in depth where our watersheds now get mapped out, and we basically have to break things down to a very minute level. This is a requirement moving forward. There's a lot of field work. There's a lot of testing that's going to be required under the new general permit. There's reporting that's required. And these reports now are tied into future grants. So if you didn't meet your benchmarks, you will not be eligible for those grants for stormwater or anything else. So unfortunately, yes, it's something I cannot perform alone at this point because it's much bigger than the scope that I can handle right
And
now.
how is AI helping us?
So AI is going to do the GIS background work. They're going to do the field surveying work. They're going to do the mapping. They're going to do the watersheds, and they're going to assist in the compliance and any revisions that need to be done to our general permit, our operating, our rules and regulations that we follow.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Does 11,000 is a maximum so far on the, does that seem like enough?
It's a scope of work for what is required within this reporting period.
So for the
From
next
year
few
3
months?
to 5. So
years
we've
3 to
done
5.
other work up to this point. So you're not seeing that money that's already been spent. This is moving forward.
Okay.
And we're trying to get ahead of the reporting period. That's why we're in years 3 to 5 right now.
Okay.
I know you're on top of it. We're so lucky. Great.
It's a team effort from everybody. So
Yes.
everybody's going through this, and it's not easy for any of us, municipality-wise.
No,
Yes.
it's never easy when things are updated. When
Yep,
these-
the county's involved as well, so it's all of us are in the same boat on this one.
Question, how does this work when, like, HOAs are responsible, like Kingfield, as an example, just an example, they're tasked with monitoring their own catch basins and things, and
So-
how did we interface with that and this whole,
So our interface is, as a regulatory agency, we oversee their compliance and their operation. Every February, March, we issue inspection reports to any homeowners association, any commercial property, any area that has what's called a best management practice in place, whether it's dry wells, infiltrators, rain gardens, impervious asphalt. It's a report card that they have to fill out and send back by either a licensed engineer or a certified inspector. And that's an annual report that we get back. I go through each of those and make sure that each of those HOAs or or parking lots have maintained their infrastructure, and the storm drains have been cleared, and any erosion has been repaired. So that comes back annually. That's one of the requirements
Schools
of the
too?
DEC.
Schools have to follow
So
it.
none of the schools are exempt under this.
Huh?
None of the schools are exempt. They
And
have
are
to follow.
these new requirements, we're able to sort of make sure that everything we get from them meets the new requirements?
Correct. As of right now, to the best of my knowledge, is the format that is being followed meets the current criteria. I have not been told otherwise
Okay.
by DEC.
So this is not, our new things are not necessarily affecting the kind of reports we get from them?
They actually fill out a report that we provide to them. I provide the blank.
Okay, so if
they
there's
fill
some
out.
change, you're just updating, you're requesting slightly different information from them? Okay.
Correct.
So, but we are relying on the information that they provide.
By a licensed engineer.
Yeah.
Right, right.
It's not just by a,
Got it.
no, it has to be by a certified inspector or by a licensed New York State engineer.
Got it. So it's
Yes.
valid.
Yes, it
I
can't
hear
just
you.
be
Got it.
occupant saying, I'm just going to
That
walk
was
the
my
property.
concern.
No.
Okay, so I think it's imperative that we do this, and it's great, because I certainly want us to get the grants to help us with this, Jeff.
At this point, it's more about the meeting the regulatory requirements than the
That
grants.
too,
I want to be
okay.
in compliance first, then we go get grants.
That's right.
Okay.
But thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Trustee Epstein?
Yes.
Trustee Heiser?
Yes.
Trustee Crum?
Yes.
And Mayor Klein?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
I still think,
Resolution number 10, considering approval of the minutes for the meetings held on November 12th, 25th, and December 9th, 2025.
Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the minutes for the meetings held on November 12th, November 25th, and December 9th, 2025.
Thank you, Chris. Can I have a motion second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments on them?
What is the collective noun for minutes?
minutia.
Hours?
For the approval of the hours. I don't think that's it.
Just asking.
That's it, that's it. That is a good
That was good. I like
question.
that.
I like that. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, administrator's report.
Okay, I do have several items I just want to highlight. I'm sick of talking about Con Ed, but just so you guys know, the rate case is expected to be voted on the new water rates and, the new electric and gas rates on their January 22nd meeting at 10:30 a.m. And people can join virtually if they so choose. But that is when they're expected to take the vote. Other item, I just want to mention that 900 King Street Sunrise has submitted the building permit application for their construction of the senior development. So that is moving forward, and that application has been submitted. The Airport Master Plan Task Force that is representing 7 municipalities, as you know, submitted the reports. It was approved by all the municipalities, except for Greenwich, has a longer process. But other than that, all 7 communities accepted the reports that were really well done by the task force. And they're going to be presenting that to the Westchester County Airport Advisory Board, which is what the county requested. So the county asked them to go to there first, and the task force members are going to be presenting it again on January 14th. That's tomorrow at 7 p.m. So we encourage, people to attend. There'll be a virtual link on the county website, hopefully soon. It's up now. Okay, it's up now. And also, or you can go in person at the county airport, and they do validate the parking. So that'd be a good opportunity for them to kind of express the concerns of those 7 communities that have worked so hard together for many, many months. Christmas trees still get picked up. Again, a reminder, putting them out curbside. We'll be picking them up technically to the end of January, as it goes to under our code. Hopefully people have it out by then. That's picked up by our staff. Next item, Rybrook Focus has a new video out as of a couple weeks ago, and that is about the recent court decisions that affect airport operations. So, as you know, that's John Mugno's series that he does as for the village, and he does some great ways to keep residents up to date on issues of interest. Last Saturday, we also had the county shredder, and we heard it was a really big turnout here. The county shredder came out last Saturday, thanks to Greg Rivera for setting that up, and the highway and highway crew to be there to help residents put items in the truck. The Greenwich Planning and Zoning Committee has approved, or Commission has approved the parking of up to 35 school buses from the Greenwich High School in the rear lot at St. Paul's. According to their traffic consultant, that's an administrative approval, so there's no public process on that. They do enter from that parking lot onto Sherwood Avenue, and at least according to the traffic consultant, whatever the buses that are going to be there, they say in the mornings there's only going to be 2 going left, which is the tougher turn onto King Street. So there's, we expressed concerns about traffic and parking, and we did share this decision with all of the groups along King Street. So we let Bellefair and Kingfield, Kingsbrook, Enclave, all the above. We let them all the businesses, Rexon. We let all of them know, as Doral Greens, we let them all know that at least that decision, so at least aware of it and keep an eye on it. If anything changes, we'll certainly voice our concerns to Greenwich. And lastly, the sidewalk at 800 Westchester. So this is, the Webb Avenue development had an approval condition that involved Rybrook that said they had to build a sidewalk along Bowman Avenue from the Webb Avenue development up to the shopping center, and we told them that in terms of putting a sidewalk in front of the middle school of Portchester Middle School, they'd have to get approval from the Portchester School District because they would be the ones that would be required to maintain it. So whether or not they could work out something with the developer or whoever it is to maintain the sidewalk or liability, they were unable to work out an agreement, so they have now made an application to us for a road opening permit to put a sidewalk just along 800 Westchester and then end. So it's a sidewalk to nowhere. So so 800 Westchester wants the sidewalk, and for our end of it, since it's a county roadway, but we own the right-of-way, it's just an application for a sidewalk that just ends, which is odd. But
It's a safety issue. I think it's very sad.
yeah,
I understand their concerns, but I think it's worse that those people are not going to have a pathway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I still think there's some liability there. So,
So there is. I mean, that's what the school district, I think appropriately, should have. The school district, I think, appropriately turned it down, saying you need to then maintain, because it's really going to be used by the residents on Webb Avenue. Somebody who represents Webb Avenue, the solution would have been that they maintain the sidewalk, clear it of snow, and also take on the liability because it's serving that
Right.
development if it's a condition. But they were unable to reach that agreement. So there won't be a sidewalk in front of the middle school. Probably will be one up on 800 Westchester that just ends.
sad.
That's it. So that's all I have for
Anything
tonight. Yep.
All right. Thank you, Chris, for that. And I would open this to any comments from the public. No? All right. The next meetings of the, and I would also actually before I do that, I would also just want to say thank you to all the municipalities in Westchester that participated in our end of the municipal consortium that worked on the Con Ed rate case together. I think the work that was done by this group of municipalities really made a difference. That we were able to see Con Ed really changing their tenor, changing the conditions of the rate case based on the fact that the municipalities in Westchester were all, that are in the Con Ed district, were all coming together to really speak in one unified voice about protecting our residents from the absurd rate changes that they were originally looking for, which were north of 12 and 14%, which have now been pared down to about 2% and 3%. So it's
Mayor, can I just add two things? So
Yeah, please.
the thing that doesn't get talked about enough.
Oh, yes,
Is
absolutely.
because of the consortium, there's conditions that basically is saying the money raised in Westchester should stay in Westchester. And that's been a big outcome of this that people don't talk enough about, I think, in my personal opinion. What does that mean? That means that currently is a disproportionate amount of capital money that is being spent in New York City compared to the money that's being raised. So the money raised in Westchester, a lot of the money raised in Westchester is being spent on capital projects in New York City. So one of the basis for not fighting the settlement, in addition to the rates being much less than originally proposed, is that there's going to be protections for Westchester that they're going to have to disclose and talk about all the issues annually about where the capital money is being spent, so we can all make sure that the money being raised in Westchester stays here. Similarly, they also have to do a study before the next rate case, they being Con Ed, that makes sure that to look at the operational costs of overhead wires versus underground wires, because most of Westchester and Staten Island have overhead wires, and there's a big, large understanding that a lot of the costs are for the maintenance of the underground system, which is largely New York City. So again, the theme here is make sure the money raised in Westchester stays in Westchester. Maybe an outcome of that should be different rates or differential rates if you have underground versus overhead, things like that. So there's a lot better understanding of all the situations by being a consortium. We carried a lot more weight, and those were two significant achievements if this settlement proposal is approved.
I would also advise people, if you haven't opened up your most recent Con Edison bill, be prepared for sticker shock.
Yeah, in the middle of winter, costs typically go up because that's when we're heating our homes.
But once again, it's not the usage.
Right, it's the delivery
Delivery.
charges.
It's the delivery charges.
And that's exactly what Chris is talking about
Yeah.
with the delivery charges. Again, the overhead versus the underground wires, and the amount of capital being spent in the Westchester area compared to New York City. And I certainly understand why there are those that are currently petitioning the PSC to reject the latest proposal from Con Ed. And I certainly understand that. Energy affordability in this area and throughout the country is a major concern. But again, what was accomplished by this municipal consortium should not be overlooked.
That's great.
Yes, Trustee Crown.
Chris, question.
Yeah.
The settlement, so far, I know it hasn't been ratified or voted on yet by the PSC, but the agreement is for them to disclose data on a lot of the stuff, right? They haven't agreed yet. I mean, I know what our goal would be from Westchester. The capital money should be used for our part of the system, but they haven't agreed to a way to implement that yet or even do it yet, right? There's one.
No, it's just
there's
right now
one
it's just
tariff for the whole
right now it's just
thing.
a settlement commission,
So-
settlement.
But we're getting enough data that we could pursue
There's a-
that in next steps.
There's a requirement that they have to provide that information to us annually. And we could talk about how we go about that too, how the best way to go about that, whether it be as a continuation of a consortium or separately in separate meetings as with everybody. So there's a few different ways it could be done, but those details have not yet been ironed out. The requirement is that they have to annually disclose and have meetings with the municipalities and the officials to go over how their costs are being allocated for capital, and specifically New York versus Westchester County.
And overhead
Yeah.
versus.
And overhead versus underground, that's one that's before the next rate case. They have to have that, they provide that information, which they indicated was not available when we sought it this time.
So it's information that we can then use to try to
Next
get
In the next-
perhaps
in the
a
next
new
rate case.
tariff or something.
For the overhead underground.
Right,
But
right.
the other one, the capital, we can talk about now,
Oh, okay.
annually.
All right.
And again, this is information that we would not have had it not been for this municipal consortium. And again, thank you to all of the municipalities that came together to do this.
And for Chris, who set it up.
And for, of course, Chris, who set it up. Yes. And WMOA,
You're
who
getting
spread
a lot
the
of
word.
thank
and-
yous tonight, Chris.
I don't hear a thing.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the board? All right. The next meetings of the Board of Trustees will be January 27th and February 10th, 2026. Thank you and have a good night.